What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we have a Dynasty trade review show for you guys. I think it is episode 12. So hopefully you guys are excited for that. But I don't want to waste any more time. I want to hop right in. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we will start talking about some of these trades. And you see the first trade here is from Sugar Shane. He says 10-team Superflex tight end premium. And the trade we have here is Kyler Murray, Nico Collins, Javonte Williams for Tua Tagovailoa, Chase Claypool, second, third, fourth, and a fifth over the next 2 years. So as I look at this trade, really what I am seeing is the most valuable piece to me is still going to be Kyler Murray. And then Tua Tagovailoa is probably the second most valuable piece, and then it's going to be Javonte Williams. So as I look at this deal, I just think that I would rather have the Kyler Murray and the Javonte Williams side. If there was a first-round pick thrown in on Shane's side, I could maybe see an argument, but even then, I don't know if I would even take it if there's a first on that side. So for me, I'm taking the Kyler Murray and the Javonte Williams side of this deal. And that's just the way that it's going to be. I know it's super flex. I know we got to wait for Kyler Murray to get healthy, but I just think he's a lot more valuable of an asset than Tua Tagovailoa. As we continue to go down here, you see we have a 12-team super flex full PPR, and he says had very little depth, so I was trying to get some while tearing down. Wish it was someone other than T, but it's the best that I could get. Probably will try and do some magic later on. So it says he is competing in there, but it's a 12-team super flex, full PPR. And it looks like Dubridge is going to be receiving T. Higgins, a 2024 first, Greg Dulcich, and Jonathan Mingo. And he gives up A.J. Brown and Alexander Madison. So this is actually a really good trade. I think it's a very balanced trade. It's a fair deal. Says he's competing, but trying to get some depth. And I think you've succeeded at doing that. Obviously, we have A.J. Brown in a tier above T. Higgins, but T. Higgins, he is going to be tied to Joe Burrow long term. At least that's what we think. We think he's going to get an extension there in Cincinnati. You get a 24 first. I'd be interested to see where that lands. If that is early to middle of the first round, it's going to be that much sweeter for you. And then I like Greg Dulcich too. I know you lose Alexander Madison, but at the end of the day, as a competing roster, I think I'd rather have the A.J. Brown and the Alexander Madison just as a competitive team. Those guys, I think, score more fantasy points than the guys you've received, but I think the value is on your side. So still contending while getting some depth. I think you've succeeded in that trade. So overall, it's a good trade, and I don't really mind either way. I think it's a good deal, a fair deal, both ways for you guys there. So as we continue down here too, we have Spacenfeld, who says 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium. And it looks like these are startup picks. So he he gets the 104, the 809, and the 904, and he gets rid of the 212, 301, 501. So it's tough to determine the value in these startup drafts for the most part. Says took Mahomes with 101 and Herbert with 104. So when you go and get a guy like Herbert, yeah, that's always great. It's obviously really good to have Mahomes and Herbert on a team in a super flex league. You're set for a long time there. But it's really hard for me to grade startup teams or startup drafts because we don't really have the value of what those players were. We don't know who they are in this deal, so it's hard for me to make an opinion there. But I would say that at least for me, for the most part, unless I'm getting a value to move up in startup drafts, I don't typically move up. Especially in like these 12-team leagues, I would say that for the majority of the time, I would more likely move back in my startups than I am moving up. But you going to get Mahomes and Herbert sounds awesome. Great duo to start your Superflex teams with Mahomes and Herbert. So I'd be interested to see how the rest of that team shook out after that draft finished. And it looks like we have another startup one here, so I'm not going to review that one. I apologize, Spacenfeld, but we will review this one for you. And it says 12-team Superflex, half PPR, half tight end premium. And looks like you're giving away Treylon Burks and a 24 second, and you get Keenan Allen and a 24 first. And again, I think this is a good team. You did say, or you didn't say if you were competing or not, but I'm assuming with this deal, you are going to be competing because Keenan Allen is an older guy who is going to be scoring more fantasy football points. And I would be confident saying that Keenan Allen scores more points this year than Treylon Burks. Obviously, Treylon Burks is a younger asset, but then you get a 24 first on the Keenan Allen side, and you just move that 24 second up. That's really what you did there. So, I like this move for you as a competitive team, which I'm assuming you are. Again, you didn't let me know in there, but I'm assuming when you trade for Keenan Allen, you are a competitor, and this is a good move for you here. I like Keenan Allen. Think he's going to be a good wide receiver this year, as long as the old age doesn't come in and he doesn't battle with some health issues. But overall, I do think that Keenan Allen's going to be a very good asset for your team this year, and 24 first will be good for you long term as well. So, good deal for you there, Spacenfeld. And then we do have this one by Empress of Tomorrow. He says 12 team dynasty superflex full PPR, and it looks like Aaron 50 is going to get Stefon Diggs and Najee Harris, and then AZ Forever 92 is going to get Godwin and Stevenson in a third. And this is a smash except for the Diggs and Harris side. There's really not too much more to it. Diggs is tiers above Chris Godwin, and you could argue that Najee Harris and Stevenson are the same tier there. So this is a smash except for the Diggs and Harris side. We won't spend too much time on that one. We do have another startup trade in here, so we aren't going to review that one. But then we do have this last one, and hopefully you guys can see it there. It isn't cropped up, but we do have Empress of Tomorrow. It is going to be Hopkins, Pacheco, and a 24 first. And then they're going to receive Gibbs, a third and a fourth. And you give up a 24 first and Pacheco and Hopkins for Gibbs, the third and fourth. The third and fourth don't mean too much to me. So it's a first, Hopkins and Pacheco. Maybe a little pricey for Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe a little pricey, but I don't mind it at all. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a stud. He's a young guy that you can build around and be competitive with right away. Hopkins is aging. Pacheco is a 7th round running back, and we know how that goes even for running backs that are drafted in the 1st and 2nd round. We know how the longevity of the position is for them. So you lose a guy like Pacheco. Hopefully the 24 first is late. But other than that, man, I don't mind you going and grabbing Jahmyr Gibbs. I just hope that first is late. If it ends up being early, you may not like this one long term, but ultimately if it's mid or late, then I think you're going to be fine with the value you gave up here. So good trade for Jahmyr Gibbs here. But that is all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you did enjoy this Dynasty trade reviews. I know we kept it pretty quick, pretty simple, pretty easy. If you do want your trades reviewed on our next episode, which we do try and do this about bi-weekly. So if you guys do like that, go submit your trades in the Discord. It is free to join. It is going to be linked in the description of this video. It is also going to be linked in the YouTube banner. And once you get them in there, we'll put them on the next episode. So hope to see you guys there. I don't have anything else for you guys today. I will see you on the next video. Peace out.